way that we get there. What we're really talking about is succession planning and mentoring. I think all of us can look back to people that have made a difference in our lives, that believed in us, that provided us with the resources that we need to aspire to be the best that we can. So I think it's so important to build a culture with your managers, because quite honestly, there's no better compliment to have one of your employees promoted. And I think part of that is to have that succession planning to build and grow the leadership that you have within the organization. So training is important to make sure that they have the skills in order to accomplish those tasks, because we run a pretty tight ship here. The key thing is we don't have a lot of dollars to spend specifically on a regular basis, so we have to make sure we take care of our most important assets, and that's all of you. All of you are the ones that deliver the services to our schools, our students, and our districts. And so making sure that you have the tools in order to be successful in your current job, but also that you have a career path. And I think that career path ties back into the strategic plan that I talked about, making sure that people have a mentor, someone who they have a personal relationship with that can be an advisor, to help them to maneuver and to get the training in order for them to be successful in their careers. I think there's nothing more important in delivering the best of services to make sure that people have the proper training, because it's so important, as I said earlier on, to make sure that people love their job. In order to do that, they need to feel that the process is fair and that they understand what the requirements are to be promoted. Thank you.
All right, thank you, candidates. My name is Mike Evans. I'm a program assistant here at the Alameda County Office of Education and also vice president of the California School Employees Association, Chapter 615 here. So question 7. Alameda County Office of Education has maintained excessive ending balances for many years. The unaudited actuals for the 2012-2013 fiscal year report a $25 million ending balance. We believe the current money should be spent on current students. What is your position on these excessive ending balances in light of the more positive financial outlook for California schools?
So it's true. We have had very healthy ending balances. What we're looking at doing moving forward, we already have met with our bargaining units about salary increases and are continuing to do that at this point. I do believe those monies need to go to the students. One of the questions that I asked when we had a state meeting was, we are interested in being able to, with the additional resources through local control funding formula, to being able to pass those increases along to our staff. So local control accountability plan says that you need to be able to say how that is going to increase student achievement. And one of the things that I contend is that by building into our people, whose job is to increase student achievement and student outcomes, that's a direct linkage. So one of the things that I value is human capital. And that's what we have in long suits in this building, is human capital. We have people who are well qualified, well trained, and passionate about their jobs. So it is an easy line to draw that if you are compensating people in a way that is fair and in a way that is increasing with increasing monies, then it's going to be a benefit to the students. And that's something collectively we'll talk about, because we have an LCAP plan as ACOE to write ourselves so that we can specifically say, this is how what I do is benefiting the children who are in front of me now, or the teachers that I help to develop who are standing in front of students each and every day. Thank you.
In education, we've gone through a dry spurt for such a long time that now we actually can breathe and see that we do have funding, we do have monies that we can put toward our students. One of the ways that we can use those funds is to look at our schools, our court schools, all of our SPAS programs, and reduce the ratio of students. Go back to CSR, go back to having lower student-to-teacher ratios. That not only helps our students, because they're having more interaction with adults, but it also assists our teachers. I was told that there was a possibility of court school going up to 25-1, and that cannot happen. That is not the way to go. Anyway, I don't want to go off on that tangent, but I do believe that because we have the money, we need to put it toward our programs. There are so many programs that we provide at Alameda County, and our students deserve to get the benefit of those monies. Our classified staff, I believe that in the programs, we should put additional classified staff. I believe we need to put money into better materials and resources for those students, better resources for the teachers as well. You can't do 21st century teaching with outdated materials. It doesn't help the teacher and it doesn't help the students. So I believe that there is no need to hold those high balances, and the thought behind local control funding is to give back to the students, and we need to follow that focus. Thank you.
Well, that's quite a fun balance. A question, is it a undesignated reserve?
I don't have that information in front of me, I apologize.
You know, I think a lot of us in the school district that I serve in now, we work with our teachers and our classified staff, and they've made many sacrifices in order to make my job on the school board easy, quite frankly. Because ultimately what it means is most of our funds go to salaries, most of those are teachers. So anytime that we're talking about cutting back, unfortunately affects our employees, and that's not a good thing. But fortunately, our teachers were very generous, our classified staff were very generous in providing us with a lot of the districts throughout the year, because we had so much uncertainty, right? We had, was Prop 30 going to pass? Were we going to get mid-year trigger cuts? There were a lot of things that we struggled with, and working collaboratively with our bargaining units was absolutely key in making sure that the districts were successful. But those times are over. And I think especially with the added increase in healthcare costs, to make sure that healthcare is affordable, and making sure that we are then providing those appropriate salaries for those employees to make sure that they are feeling successful and valued, because it's been a long drought. But more importantly, there needs to be a justification for such a high balance. That's a lot of money to run I'm assuming, an undesignated reserve. So it needs to be appropriate. You obviously need to maintain your minimum mandated 3% reserve, but more importantly, if there's an undesignated reserve, it needs to be designated. What is the purpose? It needs to go to programs that affect and benefit students throughout the county, as well as the programs within the county office of ed.
I don't know if I can get all I need to say in 2 minutes, but I'm going to talk really fast here. Do you remember what I said about the oxygen coming down from the ceiling? So we're talking about giving money to students. No, that's not exactly how it works. You give it to the employees, and you make sure that the employees have their needs met so that they can do their job to provide all the support that students need. I know classified employees who are working for their benefits, period. There is no additional money. And they have been absolutely loyal to their job and to their district when they're essentially not making any money to put food on the table or anything else. And all of these cuts that have occurred, these hurt. This hurt everybody, and especially classified employees. So first of all, let's look where we cut. Okay, let's make up what we took away and make sure that those supports are there so that when we have classrooms that the cuts hurt the employees that then hurt the kids, let's go back and look and see what we did to correct the problems that were created because we simply weren't getting enough money from the state. Now, I may be wrong, but the whole idea of LCAP is that the community decides. It's not the superintendent, it's not the county office. we're supposed to be having community meetings to determine what are the things that the community wants done with this money. So we can come up here and talk about all the things we think we ought to do,